Boom shakalaka, Bitcoin is at critical levels today. Some of the most insanely bullish charts I have seen. Stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, a lot of very interesting charts for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin sitting at some key critical levels and some of the most bullish charts I have seen for Bitcoin. Before we get into things, guys, make sure to like the video. It helps out so much. Also, today's video is sponsored by xcad Social, so stay tuned for a sponsored review. Now, fear and greed today at 74, up from yesterday's 70. The overall market up 2%. Bitcoin at 43,996, Ethereum at 2247, Solana at $97, BNB at 272, XRP 62 cents, Cardano 62 cents, Avalanche $47, and Dogecoin 9 cents. And Bitcoin right now sitting below this resistance level still. This was support, which turned into resistance. Hopefully we can break above it, especially as we see the 50-day moving average, this yellow line, breaking above previous support, coming up towards the bottom of there. But we'll have to see if Bitcoin can break above those levels. Today, that's roughly $44,000. And we are quickly approaching the halving, 91% of the way there. You can see historically, these have been levels where it is almost all up territory, just in a smooth, gentle way up, aside from Black Swan event in 2020. But as Bitcoin continues in the direction it is going, we are coming up against two potential sources of resistance, big sources of resistance. One would be the $1 trillion market cap when Bitcoin reaches roughly $51,000. And the next would be the market cap of silver, which you can see was resistance back in 2020 and 2021. Bitcoin could not break through those levels previously. Now, should we break through those levels and that becomes support, which could potentially be the likely thing to happen, well, if we head up to gold, that would be close to $1 million Bitcoin. And as you can see right now, we are at critical levels based on the RSI mid-top channel on the monthly charts. You can see that when we have these peaks here, these correspond with mid-cycle tops, potentially a mid-cycle top for Bitcoin as well at the 45,000-ish area. Will we see a cool down, or will price continue to break through? Because based on this trend line breakthrough that we've seen in previous cycles, Bitcoin would be due for a retest of that trend line. You saw us here in 2016, here in 2020. Has not yet happened here in 2023. A retest of that would put Bitcoin price back down to roughly around $30,000. But we do have some pretty insane indicators. I'm going to be taking a look at some of the best charts towards the end of the episode, but this one right here, very interesting. Every time the DAX index has made a new all-time high, which happened in 2013, 2017, 2020, and is happening once again right now. Every time Bitcoin went on a massive rally. Now back here was almost 10,000%, here it was 2,000%, here it was about 300%. Where will we be going this time? Pray tell. Because you know what? Nobody is selling Bitcoin right now. If we take a look at the Bitcoin SOPR, the spend output profit ratio, investors are waiting for higher prices, presently unwilling to sell. Nobody's selling right now. As a matter of fact, if we take a look at the levels it is right now, this is the same as when Bitcoin was $10,000 before it went up to $70,000. So right now, not many people are selling Bitcoin. And you have to remember, we have some big events coming up. Not only the spot ETF approval or rejection, could that happen? Let's hope not. But also we have the halving, and Bitcoin is also positively correlated with US presidential elections. Each time after a gray line here, the presidential election, Bitcoin price has spiked in the near term. So that's where things could be headed for Bitcoin, and also for altcoins right now, showing a massive signal on the 2-week charts. This is the total 2 or crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin, but you can see there's a giant buy signal here in 2016 and 2020, and once again 2023. This is the time when things really start to begin. So with that being said, let's take a look at our sponsored review by xcad Social today. But like I said, sponsor review, you do your own due diligence, but xcad is based on the xcad network, which is the whole watch to earn revolution here. And right now they are launching xcad Social right here. So I'm going to tell you a bit about the platform, and in the background, I'm going to have a video by Crypto Mason so you can see the user experience of exactly what this would be like. Now, in case you've been living under a rock, here's an explanation of what xcad, Social, Friendtech, and SocialFi as a whole actually is. The premise of SocialFi is to bring together the principles of social media and decentralized finance, also known as DeFi. SocialFi platforms offer a Web3 decentralized approach to creating, managing, and owning social media platforms and the content generated by its participants. In regard to how SocialFi apps have taken form so far, we're in the very early stages now, and likely similar to the early stages of DeFi like Uniswap back in 2019. Now, Friendtech was one of the very first SocialFi apps, which was hugely successful. It allowed influencers to launch their own keys that were able to trade. These keys were very volatile and brought huge trading volumes to the platform to the tunes of hundreds of millions of dollars. However, crucially, these keys are tradable. So lots of people made crazy multiples trading Friendtech keys. And as mentioned before, xcad Network is building an ecosystem around SocialFi. They've just launched their own SocialFi app, which xcad Social is, and xcad Social has launched their own version of this on BNB with Web 2 and Web 3 influencers and YouTubers. Friendtech didn't have YouTubers, and then you've got to remember that the overarching project xcad is backed by huge Web 2 names, YouTubers such as MrBeast and KSI, which could be massive for the Web 2 side. So let's take a look comparing xcad Social with Friendtech right here. You can see users. Friendtech had about 378,000. xcad Social is launching right now. Influencers offering keys, mainly Web 3 for Friendtech. This is Web 2 and Web 3 for xcad Social. Connected accounts, x.com. And then for xcad Social, we have X, YouTube, and Instagram. Chain, base chain on Friendtech, and BNB for xcad Social. Native token, ETH for Friendtech, and xcad for xcad Social. Peak daily volume, 18.5 million for Friendtech, and to be determined for xcad Social. And then fee breakdown was 5% to creator and 5% to treasury for Friendtech. And then for xcad Social, we have 5% to creator, 2.5% to xcad lock, and 2.5% to treasury. And other than that, some things that we wanted to make sure that I mentioned in the video. So xcad Social is launching, and I am launching my own key. We went over what is xcad Social, Friendtech. We went over that, the TVL volume, compare that to xcad, and why xcad Social is better than Friendtech, mentioning the Web 2 backing. Also, we introduced xcad. Anyone can launch a key, and if you watch the video in the background, we'll also link to that video down in the description. You can see a tutorial for how exactly to use xcad Social. There will be a lot of volatility, and you should know about your keys, and you have issued keys, and also airdrops. Also, there are creator tokens, how to convert them, sustainability, and Friendtech, and xcad Social is the first part of the V2 ecosystem. Talking about the xcad token and its benefits, demands, lockup, all of those things. So if you are interested in more, you could check out more at xcad.social. You could sign up, you could log in there using your favorite app. And let's get back to Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin Money Flow Index has successfully caught the parabolic phase of the bottom. So if we take a look at the money flow index here on the bottom, when it has broken the levels that we are at right now, you can see this is the part where the parabolic uptrend really starts to heat up. So we are in that territory where Bitcoin could start to see some absolutely massive gains. Also, the volatility index having a cross down here on the bottom, or the green slime indicator, as it's also been called, but this is right before some massive parabolic run-ups for Bitcoin. So those massive charts that I tend to look at, here's a giant inverse head and shoulders for Bitcoin being formed. Now we already have a left shoulder formed. We already have a giant head formed. Should we break up to that $60,000 to $80,000-ish area, we would have the neckline right there. And if it comes down again, that would be a right shoulder for Bitcoin, which would send the price much higher, particularly when you consider something like this. We have Bitcoin breaking out of the monthly Bollinger Bands for the first time since 2016 bull run. Now, it broke out of that bull run and then sustained on the upper bound of that bull run all the way to the top, which is roughly 100x from the time when it first broke out of there. So could you imagine 100x on Bitcoin from where we are right now? That could be absolutely massive, potentially coming up to levels based on fib extensions like the 2.414 fib extension, roughly around $265,000 per Bitcoin. Or if you like the concentric circles model, well, this one would suggest a roughly $300,000 per Bitcoin model before the end of this bull run. So that's all for today's episode. If you enjoyed it, push the like button. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Love you. Peace.